Welcome to Generation Truth Podcast with Carey and Rebecca Charles, where we declare the Lord is good, His mercy is everlasting, and His truth endureth to all generations. I'm really excited because, as I said in some previous episodes, we've been able to get some speakers on to our podcast. We had Brother Jake DeAndre with us on the last couple podcast episodes, and for this one, I've got Brother Chris Hill, and he is the pastor at Eastside Baptist Church in, do you pronounce it Mebane or Mebane?
If you're from there, it's Mebane.
Mebane,
but if you're not there, Mebane is fine.
Mebane. Every time I look by it, I'm like, oh, it's Mebane. Here we go. And if anyone is not from there, they obviously say that. But Brother Chris actually pastors a church that is right down the road, 20, 30 minutes from Wayside Baptist?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yep.
Right down the road from the church that my dad was an assistant pastor of a long time ago. Such good friends down there. He's been heavily involved with the camp here, just a great supporter and encouragement. He does a lot with public school outreach. And this episode, usually we're kind of gearing towards teens and young adults, and this will help you as well, but we're really going to try to help some of the adults that listen to this episode, or maybe the next couple episodes, of how to basically get involved and reaching the public school system with the gospel of Jesus Christ. And so, first of all, how long have you been at Eastside Baptist?
I was the assistant to the pastor for 13 years, and now I've been the pastor for going on 4.
Okay, wow, man.
So 17 total.
Oh my goodness. And I believe you went to Crown College, is that right? Yep. My wife graduated from Crown. He is such a good friend, and you started working with, or trying to get in the public schools, how long ago was it?
About 4 years ago.
So let's talk about how to reach people in the public school system. Okay, just tell me how you got started.
So the way I got started really was I began to look at our church youth group and our situation, and wanted to have more young people from our public schools. So I started I went to every school within about 10-minute drive of the church, and I took donuts to the school.
That's always a great way to start.
It didn't really, it didn't open up any doors for me, but it got me at least on the property to see people and begin to talk to people. My first school was a small charter school that's about 8 minutes away from the church, and I had a lady in my church was a teacher assistant. And so I asked her to get me a meeting with the principal, and the principal let me come in, and I just asked him if I could start a Bible club. It's after hours. It's completely voluntary. It doesn't cost the school anything. We would love to serve the school in that way. And they said yes. And it kind of shocked me. I didn't think they would say yes. And so that's really where we started at.
You just kind of... Okay, when you bring donuts to a school, are you setting up? Did you just bring the donuts to the principal, or did you just everybody in the school? Or?
I took them to the front, just the staff at the front.
Okay, the staff at the front.
But it really did not go well. I was pretty discouraged after it happened. After I just kept knocking, and people would take the donuts and say thank you, and then nothing back. Because I gave them the donuts, I'd go back and I'd email the person I gave the donuts to, because all their emails are online. Okay. And so I'd email them and thank them for what they do for our community, and then I just ghosted with every school that I got. But they didn't know who I was. I was a stranger out of nowhere. And so when I had a lady at the church that worked in the school, that was my first route. Now, in that first school, I think the meeting got canceled like 3 times before we finally were able to sit down with the principal.
Wow. Okay.
And so with the schools, a lot of it was just not giving up, and just over and over and over again, until finally the wall kind of breaks down and they let you come in and serve however they...
How long did it take you? Was it a year to get in, or
for that first school? It was 6 months.
6 months. Wow.
But I still have schools that I've been working on for 4 years, and I'm not in.
Really?
And so some of them. Oh my goodness! And then there was another school, an elementary school that we went to. I knew the assistant principal's dad, and so I asked him to connect me with her. And then I was in that school within a month of asking.
Oh my goodness.
And so it just depends on the people there. And sometimes it goes fast, sometimes it goes really slow.
So, I mean, what happens if you don't have anybody from your church that's actually involved in the school system, though?
So I've got a school that I've been working on. It's the closest school to our church. And so I went to take donuts, and they were very appreciative, but then nothing. And so I got some people together, and we prayed about that school specifically. And then I went up to the school. It was during the summer, and I knocked on the door. And when the principal came to the door, which was kind of odd, and I said, "Ma'am, her name is Miss Gibbs." I said, "Miss Gibbs, my church wants to serve you any way that we can, whether it's yard work, painting walls, feeding. What do you need us to do?" And then she said, "You're not going to believe this," which, if you believe in prayer, that's a different whole message. But she said, "You're not going to believe this. We just had a meeting about our landscaping and how we needed some community help. And we just got done 5 minutes ago saying we need to find some community help."
Wow.
And she said, "Now you're here." And I said, "Well, we would like to be that help."
That's crazy.
And God really lined it up. And so then we spent about $500 on mulch. And then we got about 10 people out there, and we just cleaned up. It took about 5 hours, and that opened up the door to that school, just serving. And we would serve, and we didn't ask for anything.
That's wow.
For about a year. And then from there, we were able to start. We go in once a month and eat lunch with a group of kids that they've identified as they need role models. And so we get to be their role models. And so
did she approach you about that, or?
I kept asking her what we could do.
Okay.
And I've been trying to start a Bible club in that school. And she said, "I can do this, but I can't do the Bible club yet." And so whatever they give us, we take.
Okay.
And so we've been doing that for 2 semesters now.
Yeah. Okay. So really, honestly, the first step is just showing them. I mean, you hear that statement so much of people don't really care how much you know until they know how much you care. We've used that statement on this podcast a few times now. And I think, honestly, from what you're saying, it's basically just showing them that you're willing to serve them. And that's a huge step for them. And a lot of times it takes, 6 months, maybe a year, who knows how long.
She said something to me right after when we first started talking about the mentor lunch, and I'd proved that we'll stay around. She said, "We've tried this before, and other churches agreed to it, but then they didn't follow through."
Oh.
And so I found out part of the reason why I was having such a struggle is because people had committed to things before, and when they didn't get the response they wanted after 2 or 3 months, they just stopped.
So they got burned, basically.
Yeah. And so they were like, "We're not going to do this again." And so I told her, I said, "Miss Gibbs, we will be here no matter what on this. As long as I'm here, we will show up." And so we've got a year's worth of invested in. And so so every semester now, at the end of the semester, I meet with her and I say, "Now's the time we can start the Bible club." And it's just inch by inch, anything's a cinch, trying to get to that spot where we can start preaching Jesus to them in the school. But it's taken quite a bit to get there.
So you haven't even gotten to really preach the gospel yet. You've just been, so you've just been helping out any way you can, developing that relationship, which honestly is basically what Jesus did all the time, was just developing that relationship.
Yep.
And then
we're the proctors for a lot of their tests. Because all your schools in your county need proctors.
Okay.
And nobody really wants to proctor. I don't want to proctor, but all you do is for a half a day, you just help the teacher as they're giving the test. So we're the proctors in their school. We feed the teachers for their appreciation. We'll bring them desserts and different things like that, just to try to show them that we love them. One of the things that helped me a lot, I was talking to a guy that had been in school ministry for a long time. And my language, I used to go up to the schools and say, our church wants to adopt you as a school. And I thought that sounds healthy and neat. And he said, they don't know that they need to be adopted. So he says, start saying, we want to serve and partner with your school. So then instead of them coming under your wings, you're locking arms with them. They don't feel awkward about it. And immediately, as soon as he said it, I was like, yeah, that does sound weird. Like, hey, these people this is their career and I'm adopting them. And so changing that language helped us tremendously.
Sure. So really, I think the first avenue is just being willing to serve, and then even willing to be, I guess, have that endurance to just stick it out. That makes so much sense, because so many people nowadays, it's like, oh, you did something nice, but are you really going to stick with it? That's huge. So this is something we're going to actually break down into 2 or 3 episodes, because there's so much packed into this. But I am so excited about it because God has given us in America. We still have the freedom to be able to go into the public school system, but it takes work, and nobody likes work, but it's just a part of life, and you got to work your way into it. And these are, I'm so thankful for Brother Chris. He's going to share some more on the next episode as well of how we can truly reach this generation of young people who are not in the church. Some of them don't even know who Jesus really is. And so how can you really be a part of this? I'm going to talk to him about, okay, well, how do you get your church involved? Like, how do you get volunteers and all that? So stay tuned for the next episode as well. This is just practical truths for you to take. Maybe you're a pastor out there, you can listen to this. Hopefully this will be a blessing to you, and this will help you in your church family. And if you'd like to ask us a question, you can go on the description and you can send us a question. We can even ask Brother Chris and see if we can talk about it later. So let's keep sharing the truth of God's word. Let's get to know that truth so we can live the truth, so we can give the truth, because God's truth endures to all generations.